Hello and welcome to Learn with Indrjeet. This is another video in the series of videos titled Building a To-Do Management System Application in the latest .NET 8 framework from Microsoft. In this series of videos, we are building together a very simple to-do management application to learn various programming concepts. Please note that this is not a production ready application and is for learning purposes only. In the previous video, we implemented the change password functionality in the web application project, which is our front-end Razor Pages web app. If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch that too. In this video, we'll be adding authorization header to the HTTP client request. We already did that in the previous video, but this time we'll be improving the add auth header function that is there in the HTTP client service. We'll be handling different scenarios. So it is going to be very informative. So watch it till end. And if you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up. I am very excited to jump in. But before that, I would like to thank all the viewers that have subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much. If you are new to this channel and haven't already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest content. So let's get started. So here in Visual Studio, let's go to the HTTP client service and improve this add auth header function in such a way that it should be able to handle different scenarios, right? So first is we want to get the refresh token from the cookie. So let's copy these lines and so get refresh token from cookie, and let's name it refresh token with a small r, and refresh token cookie name. Okay, now this refresh token might be null, right? So the refresh token is not there, suppose, then what we want to do is we'll sign out and then clear the cookies and then return false from this function. Okay, so if the refresh token, if string dot is null or empty the refresh token, then we want to use the HTTP context accessor. So await underscore HTTP context accessor dot sign out, sorry, dot HTTP context dot sign out async, and it wants the second overload wants the auth properties, and the third one wants scheme. So let's use the third one. So cookie authentication defaults, cookie authentication defaults dot authentication scheme, right? And this one is void, right? Now we have signed out. Let's now clear the cookies. So clear cookies using this function, which is not there yet. Let's go ahead and create that here. We'll implement that later and return false. Okay, so this clear cookies function, we have already written this one in the index page. Let me just go there and show you that. So when we sign out, we clear the session and then we delete the cookies. Okay, so we want to get these lines and simply have here, right? So instead of context accessor, we have this here. So context accessor, like so. Okay, so we are deleting the token cookies and the refresh token cookie. Okay, so sign out, clear the cookies and return false. If the refresh token is there, then we want to get the JWT. Okay, so here is that code. Let's put it up above. Yeah, so now we are trying to get the access token from the cookie, but there are cases. So the token that we are getting maybe maybe null, and if that is so, we want to do the same thing. No, so let me just put it here. Get the JWT token from the cookie. Okay, JWT is not there. If it is not there, simply go and get new JWT using the refresh token. That is the purpose of it. Then add into header, then set cookies again, and then return true from the function, right? So if this access, instead of access token, let's name it JWT token. Okay, okay. So if string dot is null or empty, whatever is there in this JWT token, we want to get a new token. So var new JWT token, and it will be a VM because we are trying to write a function with the name get refreshed token, and we want to pass in a refresh the existing refresh token to this function to get a new JWT token. Instead, we'll get a new JWT token view model. So let's pass in a JWT view model. Okay, where JWT token VM is equal to new JWT token VM with the refresh token only set to the refresh token that we already have, like so. And let's pass the JWT token VM here, right? And we are going to use HTTP client over here. So await, let's put in await here, and let's generate this method. So this is supposed to return a task of JWT token VM So here we'll be like we'll be hitting an endpoint in the Auth controller, which is this one, with the token view model, and then we'll access the refresh JWT token function in the Auth service, and let's refactor this a bit. So if the JWT token VM that we are passing is null, let's not check this condition, or the refresh token that is there in this view model is null, then we are returning an error. We are now not passing the JWT token here, so no need to get the principal or the username and all these things, right? This time we'll find the user by its ID. So the user ID will come from this guy, right? So straight away we are going to the database to get the refresh token by ID. So there has to be a function for that, refresh token, sorry, JWT token VM dot refresh token. So this function is not there. Let's go to the repo to create that function here, and let's first go to the interface to declare. So Control D, this function will take in the ID of refresh token. So let me just in an ID and implement the interface for the remaining ones, and we'll return something of this type. So let's paste here and refactor this. So from refresh tokens, see, we are using this ID column. This is actually the refresh token, okay? So where x.id to lower is equal to whatever ID we have passed, order by descending, first or default. So there is no need to like order by, right? Now the Auth service should be happy, yes. So we are passing in the refresh token to get the refresh token row from the database. If that row is null or the ID is not equal to, we are actually matching the ID already, or if the refresh token has already expired, we return an error. Otherwise, we get the refresh token from db.user_id. So we are using this one. So for a unique user ID, for a unique refresh token, there will be user ID. We are using that to find the user. If the user is null, we are returning error. Otherwise, we are checking if the user is locked out. If it is, then we are again returning an error. Otherwise, we are returning a proper JWT token VM with the new JWT token in that. Okay. So here we'll use the Auth controller slash refresh JWT function, the endpoint. Okay. Let's name it JWT token. We'll use this line later. Okay. So now let's implement that later. Coming back to the mainstream. So we have got a new JWT token view model that is having the latest new JWT. Okay. But this can be null. So if this new view model is null, then what we should do is again sign the user out and clear the cookies and return false. Otherwise, add auth header. Right? And to add the auth header, what we do is this line. Okay. But now we'll be using the new JWT token VM dot JWT token. That is the new one that we got as a refresh token. Okay. Then after adding the auth header, we'll have to set the cookie again. Okay. So set token cookie, and for that we'll need two things. One is this new JWT token and the expiry. Okay, so we'll use a function over here, set token cookies, set token cookie, maybe fine, and we'll pass in the new JWT token and the validity of this token. Okay, so for validity, let's declare a new payload and get the payload from JWT token handler. So the JWT token handler, let's initialize one here. Initialize token handler, that is JWT token handler is equal to new JWT security token handler, like so, and let's use this JWT token handler to read the JWT token, that is this one. Okay, and then the new payload dot valid2 should be passed. Okay, so set token to token cookie is not there. Let's generate a method for that. We'll implement this also later. Now we have handled the if JWT token that we got from the cookie is, if that is null, we are refreshing it, and if we are unable to refresh, then we sign out, clear the cookies, return false. Otherwise, we set the authorization header, set the cookies again, and return true from here. Okay, save that. If everything is okay, we want to check for the expiry of this JWT. So if let's do one thing. Okay, so here, if the JWT token is not null, JWT token is not null, then get the payload, sorry, like that. So var we have this line already, so let's copy and paste that, with the only difference that this is the existing tokens payload and here we have the JWT token, right? Now we will handle the JWT. If the token has expired already, then again get new token, get new JWT, add into the header, set the cookies, return true. Everything that we did before will come in this if construct. So let's copy everything, and so if payload, this the new payload, okay, fine. So the payload dot valid to, if this date is less than the datetime dot UTC now, that means the token has already expired, and in that case we do this. So we try to get the JWT token VM, a new JWT token in that, and we add it to the header, set the token cookies, and we're good to go. Okay, so now if any of these conditions are not there, we simply add the header, add the token to the header, and then we'll be like setting the cookie again. So let's do that. Okay, new JWT token. So our JWT token is not null, one thing. It has not expired, that's fine. Let me put in a space over here and here also. So this JWT is fine, and we want to put it to the header, and no need to set the token cookie again because it is already there. So return true, that's fine. Okay, so now let's implement these small functions. One is the get refreshed token first. And for that, what we want to do is we'll use the HTTP client. Yes, so let's do that. So HTTP client dot post as JSON async. It wants a path, so path is auth controller slash let me take the name of that function, paste here, and pass into it the token VM that we just got. Now this will return a HTTP response message. So we'll have to have await here, and var HTTP response message. So if it has await, make it async, and we have already awaited it above. Yes. Okay, so now from this HTTP response message we'll have API response. So where API response is equal to await HTTP response message dot content dot read as JSON read from JSON async into API response class, like so. Okay. Now, if this API response, let's do that again. If this API response is not equal to null, and the API response dot status code is equal to 200, okay, that means everything is fine with this API response, then we'll have where new JWT token VM is equal to API response dot data. If that is not equal to null, then we'll convert that. So JSON convert dot deserialize object to a particular type of a particular type, JWT token VM. Yes, this one. And where from we'll get the input. We'll get the input from API response dot data dot toString, like so. Let me just put it in a different line, sorry. Right, otherwise null. Okay. So this line says if the API response has data into it, then convert it to JWT token VM and return it. Yes, so return the new JWT token VM if that is null, or if that is null, or the JSON to the JWT token contained in there is null. Okay, if that is the case, then return null, else return the new JWT token VM. Let's invert this conditional. So we are saying if the new JWT token is not null and also it has a JWT token, then return it, otherwise return null. All right, so let me format it to match the one above. Okay, if this is not the case, then we want to return null, right? And now it is fine. All paths are returning some value, then okay. Now let's implement the set token cookie. So we want to set a token cookie to the response underscore http context accessor dot http context dot response dot cookies, and the context may be null, so let's put in here a question mark. So cookies dot append, and append what? Append cookie name. So cookie settings dot which one? The token cookie. We are only refreshing that, and the options the value will be JWT token that we are getting from here, and the options would be, let's declare the cookie options. Cookie options, and we don't have that, so let's declare it here. So var is equal to new cookie options colon, and the cookie options will have domain, path. We already have these somewhere in our code, so let's search for that in the entire solution. Cookie options. See, one more typo I find. This options is missing. No options. Okay, and this one also. So control R is the shortcut for that, and let's take these, copy that and paste here. So the domain comes from cookie settings, cookie path, this and that. Now the expires is to be set differently. So we will be taking the valid to from the payload. Okay, and expires will be just equal to the valid to, like so. Okay, so we are setting the token cookie only, not the refresh token cookie, right? So once again, see, while trying to add a authentication header to the request, we first try to get the refresh token from the cookie. If we are not having a refresh token in the cookie, then we just sign out the user and clear all the cookies, return false. And after that, the API, the application gets 401 unauthorized. Okay, that's one scenario. Now we have a refresh token already in the cookie. Then we try to get the JWT token from the cookie, obviously, and if that is null, we use the refresh token to get a new JWT token view model with a new JWT token. And if that is null, we again sign out, clear the cookies and return false. Otherwise, we add the auth header bearer with the new JWT token, and then we set the token cookie again. Okay, now if the JWT token that we got from the cookie is fine, then we check the validity, the expiry using payload. If that JWT is expired, we again use the same methods to get a new one and set it to the header. If everything is okay, we set the normal token to the header. Okay, so now how will we like check it? So let's check it for change password. For this page, so when we go ahead and change the password, we need the auth header to be added, like, because here we are saying true and it posts to the change password method. Okay, so let's put in a debug point on the auth header, and yeah. Okay, so let's start the application and try changing the password once again. Okay, now let's sign in, test user3 at gmail.com, and abcd-124 is the password as we changed it in the last video. So sign in, we're able to sign in. Now change the password from abcd-124 to abcd-123. so cd-123, back to the old password that we had. Yeah, okay. So change password. Yes, auth header is hit. So refresh token, we have that. Okay. And if we have the refresh token, we try to get the JWT. It is not null. We'll read the payload. If it is valid, yes, it is valid. We simply add it and return true. See? Continue. And the password is again changed, right? So now we have implemented the change password functionality as well as the auth header. Of course, you can test the different scenarios, like you can delete the refresh token from the cookie, and then you can check for this one. Then you can delete, you can leave the refresh token as is and delete the JWT, and then you will be able to check this. And you can set the JWT expiry to a little less minutes over here. Like if we change the 30 to 1 minute, then you will be able to test this scenario, right? And you will be able to see how refresh token is retrieved from the refresh token, a new JWT token, and then how it is used. Okay, so I leave that to you because this video has already crossed, I think, 30 minutes. Yes, and in the next video we'll be doing some more improvement to our application, and that is showing a login partial, using a login partial instead of this code. Let me just close all tabs and go to shared and layout. See, what we have done is we have written this if else case in the layout underscore layout. So we'll use a login partial for it, and we'll show an image of the user when the user logs in. So right now we are showing just this icon. We'll be showing an image, right? So sign out and close that. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful and learned something, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button below. Your support means a lot to me. This encourages me to invest more time and create more valuable content for you. Remember to click the notification bell so you never miss an update on future videos. In the comment section below, please let me know what you learned from today's video. What was your favorite part? If you have any questions on today's topic or suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comments. I read and respond to as many comments as I can. To watch more videos on the same topic, check out the playlist or visit the channel. Thank you so much for your time. Keep learning.